We could just conversate, just cut hair like normal.
Just normal. I think there's like, what was it, like a show or a movie, I can't recall, where, I'm trying to remember, I know there was like, help me out here, there was like, I can't remember what the movie was about or show, but it's like, you know, they're normal, they do the usual thing, but they're being filmed for something, and one of them is acting so weird and off base, but I can't remember where or what it is.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like, I can't recall, it's so general and bland, but it's gonna hit me, and I bet once I leave out of here, it's gonna be one of those, hey, it's like, that movie or that show that.
This was the show that I was.
Yeah, no, but I don't know I can't remember what it was, but they act totally weird. It's like, just act your usual self. I'm like, I am usual. And I can't remember what, I don't know.
And then they're just doing the most random things that they would never do.
Yeah, they're saying like the most off-base comments or.
It just gets so awkward.
I can't remember I don't know. It'll hit me, but it's just, it reminds me a little of that. It's like.
That's me. That's me on camera.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I don't know. It was kind of funny because, like, you ever seen the Super Mario Brothers movie?
The one that came out a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
All right. You remember where they have the commercial that came out?
I don't want to turn it into like a full haircut tutorial, but feel free to just like every now and then just kind of, this is what I'm doing, this is why, but just you can get right back in the conversation. Like what you guys are doing is great.
Okay,
gotcha.
Cool.
All right. Take two.
Super Mario commercial.
There you go. So that part with the Super Mario commercial, you know where the Mario Bros are in the restaurant, and they're with I think their uncle.
Yep.
And then that big bozo bully tells him, you know, you guys are not going to make a career out of what they're doing. You remember that part where they have the commercial and they're watching it on their phone?
Yeah, because they're like, it's like a commercial for their plumbing company, right?
And then the chick is reading the script and she's talking so awkward. Yeah, you can tell she's like, thank you, Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
For your, and you can see her eyeballs looking like to the left from the camera.
Just like all nervous.
And she's staring at the thing, like, you know she's reading the cue cards.
Yep.
But it's like so awkward. It wasn't fluid. But that wasn't the movie or the show that I was referring to, but it was just one of those.
One of those moments.
Yeah, it's
probably
not fluid.
Probably an old sitcom or something.
I know.
It's also making me think of like old Disney shows too.
Yeah. Well, it'll hit me, but just, I don't know. Some people just act weird behind the lens.
I think it's very common.
I know.
Very natural.
Yeah.
So with the haircut, we started with the 2. We're taking that all the way around. I'm trying to get some of these little long pieces cut out, but we'll go through with scissors and try and fine tooth them in. Yeah, I'm just using my Style Crafters Instinct clippers. Not NSYNC, not the boy band.
Oh no.
I'm just really trying to cut most of the bulk out of the hair right now. And then we're going to go in and get it real short and get it prepped for hitting it with the electric shaver to bald out the sides. My favorite question to ask a new client that I've never, my favorite question to ask a new client is, have they met any famous people? I feel like it's a great opener. It's kind of a very niche, like, opening question, I guess. Sometimes people are like, why? Or but it really also kind of helps me get a feel for like what they're into. Like if they say someone that's in sports, then I know that that'll be a good topic to talk about in the rest of the haircut. But I also just find it really fascinating because it could be someone completely and totally random, and Unfortunately, I don't always know who they are talking about, but sometimes it's just really cool. I'm sure I probably asked you before, Patrick. Maybe I haven't.
Maybe, maybe not.
Have you ever met anyone famous?
I've met a few. Batista?
Batista.
You've seen him in many movies. Plenty of movies.
Give me a roll.
Okay, this one's an easy one. Guardians of the Galaxy.
I've definitely seen the movie. But
The guy with the blades, he's bald, he's Drogo or whatever his name is.
I think so, yeah.
The one where he makes fun of Quail and the raccoon, the big bodybuilder dude.
I think so.
Okay, you've seen the movie, right?
It's been a while, but yes, I have seen it.
Okay, there's there's that tree, right? The talking tree.
Groot, yes.
Yeah, Groot, and then the raccoon Rocket.
Rocket, yes.
And then Quail, the lead actor.
The blonde guy, right?
Well, I think it's more like
More brunette.
yeah, ish. And then
Okay.
he's got his love interest.
Okay. That's
And
the
then
girl that's green.
and then there's the guy who looks kind of greenish,
Okay.
like this big muscle dude with the blades.
Mm-hmm.
That's Batista.
I think so, yes.
I know you've seen like Army of the Dead from Netflix. I don't know, maybe.
No, I haven't seen that one.
He's had so many movies. Well, anyways, I met him, and this was when he was a pro wrestler, back with WWE.
Okay.
Probably waited like maybe 3 hours after the event ended.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
he was doing meet and greets, or?
well,
Kind of?
wrestlers tend to like after the event's over, they're in the locker room, kind of just getting dressed, showered up, eating whatever they do, and I mean you're gonna have to wait anywhere between an hour and a half to 3 hours. Well, he finally came out. He's obviously tired, banged up,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you this: he is a mammoth of a dude.
Really?
He is about like 6'6", 6'7". At the time, he was weighing like about 295 pounds of muscle. I mean, that guy, his hand size was maybe 4 times my hands. Hell of a dude. And this is obviously years before he became a.
I was gonna say, so he was a pro wrestler before he was an
Yes,
actor.
he started pro wrestling before he started acting. Obviously, he's retired. I think he's been retired for like, I don't know, 7 years now.
Yeah.
But all he does now is movies. So that's one of the many celebrities I've met. The other one's Pitbull. You know Pitbull, right?
I know Pitbull. I love Pitbull.
He bought us shots for my brother-in-law's wedding.
That's cool.
It was one of those like exclusive weddings at Miami South Beach.
Okay.
And he goes there. Coincidentally, he was there when my brother-in-law was getting married, and he had this private little event. Now the thing is, Pitbull has history with my brother-in-law. This was when Pitbull was like up and coming, before like anyone knew who he was. He was still like rapping in high schools and all those gyms in Miami. So like at one point or another, my brother kind of like was in that scene a little bit, and they knew each other. And since Pitbull noticed that my brother was getting married, he came over, congratulated him. He introduced himself, took pictures with us, and bought us a round of like tequila for every one of us. Oh, he was a gentleman.
Aww.
Yeah, and just
And
toasted.
this was after he had hit fame because your brother-in-law just knew
Oh
him from
yeah,
back
yeah.
in the day?
Well, this was when he's already like in the peak of his career. Like Pitbull was just, I mean, he was one of those cats where like, man, if you can find him, catch him, great. And but because he and my brother-in-law had history years before he became famous, Pitbull remembered him, and he just says, "Oh hey, what's up, man? You getting married?" And man, like, it was just by sheer coincidence that he was there and just wanted to buy a round of drinks for everyone on his tab.
What are the odds?
I know. So, yeah, many celebrities, but that was, I guess, 2 that stand out the most. just very, very cool. And then I kind of came across with Tom, I forget his last name. I think it's Skerritt, Tom Skerritt. Might be butchering his last name. You know the guy from Aliens?
I haven't seen the films.
Okay, you know Top Gun, the original?
No.
I mean, I feel like an oldie. So anyways,
No, I just.
we
am not.
ran into him by accident over in Seattle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we were going to the you know the Needle in Seattle.
Casey,
We had a reservation in the tower, the very top, and I'm passing through, and I noticed somebody passed through. I was like, oh, somebody in the corner of my eye, but I didn't really pay attention. And then my sister-in-law goes, wait a minute, isn't he? And I looked over, I'm like, holy crap, that's Tom. And I remember him from, oh, you know what's another movie? You know, what's...
Real quick, I'm just going to hit, now that we've got it all taken down real short, I went through with my 0, and then I just hit it with my trimmer, and got behind the ears real good. And then we're going to go in with the electric shaver and just bald the sides out. Okay, commence. So you were at...
Oh, yeah. So, we see Tom coming out. I think he was with his grandchildren or, like, with a family, but he was kind of, like, by himself, and I'm not one to, like, bother celebrities when they're, like, doing their thing. And sister-in-law caught somebody that, like, hey, somebody looks familiar, and we looked, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's Tom. And she wasn't sure who he was, but she recognized it was somebody that was on film, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she went up to him and like, hey, is it okay we can get a picture? And I took a picture of Tom and my sister-in-law. I shook his hand and said hello, but you ever seen the movie, I think the movie Ted with the teddy bear?
Yeah, it's been a long time,
okay,
but yeah.
do you remember, and hopefully you remember, do you remember where Mark Wahlberg, his old boss, before he got fired from the dealership or from the car rental place?
It's been too long since I've seen it.
Well, do you remember when he was getting married at the end of the film? That his boss, was there, and then one of the co-workers kidnapped one of the celebrities. That celebrity's Tom.
Okay.
If you see it, you'll remember. But anyway, that's another one that I came across accidentally.
It's right time, right place.
Yeah. And then I think RJ Miller. You know who that is, right? Oh, okay. Well, I'm throwing out names, but comedian. Yeah, he was at an art gallery in Tampa.
Huh?
He was in an art gallery.
In Tampa?
Yeah, and oh my God, I forgot the artist's name. He's a Spanish artist. Anyways, I'm kind of like minding my own business. Both my wife and the sister-in-law were kind of like doing their thing.
Yeah.
And I see this dude comes out. I'm like, oh crap, that's RJ Miller. And he's a comedian. He's done like tons of movies, voice acting. And he's on his headphones, kind of like doing his thing. So we found out that he was doing a comedy show in Tampa that same night. And he was one of those like lay low characters.
Right.
And I was like, man, I didn't want to bother him. And I told the wife, I'm like, hey, that's RJ Miller. Have you ever seen Deadpool?
I actually just watched Deadpool maybe a week ago for the first time.
Okay, which one? The first one, second, or third one?
First one.
Okay. You know the guy that's his best friend that works at the bar?
Yes.
That's RJ Miller.
Okay.
So that guy is who we came across, and I told the wife, I'm like, hey, look who it is. I'm like, who is it? That's RJ. And he goes, RJ, who's RJ? Mm-hmm. The guy from Deadpool. I'm like, oh my gosh. So she came up to him and said, hey, can I get a picture? And he was like, ignored her. But he did that not to like have anyone like find out. And he whispered to her, give me your phone. What? And she grabbed the phone, took a like under the table picture, and then like walked away. So like they wouldn't, so no one would like find out.
That's smart. And
Yeah.
he was still like kind enough to give her the picture, even though
Yeah.
you gotta keep it low profile.
Yeah, so some celebrities keep it low profile, but
They're just trying to have a good time too.
yeah. But yeah, just pretty good people, man. But don't want to interrupt them when they're doing their thing. How about you? Any celebrities?
I've met a few. We met Chris D'Elia. He's a comedian as well.
Ah.
Are you familiar?
Yeah, I've heard.
We had went to a show out in New Orleans, and we went to the bars afterwards. And see, that's the problem. Is I feel like I've probably been so close to so many celebrities, but like recognizing them is like hard for me.
Right.
But like I looked over, and I think it was more because he had like a little bit of an entourage with him, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's him. And then I looked down at his shoes, and it was the same shoes he was just wearing, so I was like, that's definitely him.
Wow.
And my group and we went over and took a picture with him, and he was chill.
Oh, that's
He was
nice.
doing his own thing.
That is cool.
But they were also kind of doing a little bit of filming, so I don't know if he even really wanted to be out that night, or if they were just doing it for, maybe they were doing like a Netflix show or something.
Right.
Well, definitely wasn't Netflix, but
oh wow.
he told us about how he didn't care for Netflix.
Yeah.
Besides the point. I met a girl named Gabby Butler. She was a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Like, pretty famous. She was on that cheer show on Netflix. But I met her when she was really young.
Yeah.
What else? Do you remember a band called the Spin Doctors? They're a little bit older.
Sounds familiar.
They had, I'm so terrible with this stuff. They had one song that was called Princess in the Pea or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to like watch it on YouTube to get it like a refresher.
You would know the song instantly too, and I
would.
would.
Really?
But my memory is not serving me as it should.
It's all good.
Anyways, he came in for a haircut. He was doing when they were doing like.
Oh really?
On Jacksonville was like hosting the music downtown.
Oh,
they were doing like one show each Thursday in the month of April or something.
Right.
This was not last year, maybe the year before last. But he came in for a haircut, and I was like,
that's cool.
Same old like, hey, what's going on, man? What are we doing today? And
that's awesome.
what brings you into town? He's like, oh, I'm playing a show, and I had no idea who he was, honestly.
Right.
But he. It's like, yeah, and I just assumed it was, like a little, I didn't think that he was like, I just imagined that he wasn't like a big star or whatever.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, does your band have a name? And he was like, Spin Doctors. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Spin Doctors, yeah, I remember.
And then towards the end of the haircut, he like was like telling me like he was the lead singer, and he like sung a little bit of the song, and I was like, wait, I feel like I know this song.
Now hold up now.
Then I started to like clue in a little bit more that like this guy was probably bigger than I thought he was.
So that was the lead singer from Spin Doctors?
Yeah.
You are, oh my God, I grew up on that song.
Yeah, he came here and got his haircut. It's Chris.
Chris. It's like back in my days, I used to listen to this song.
He gave me like a little guitar pick with his name on it too.
What?
I told my husband when I got home, and he was like freaking out about it, and I was like, I didn't know. He was like, you should have got a picture with him. And I was like, I would have never asked,
Man, they were like the hottest like band like during the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Because everyone was playing their song.
I feel like they had like one or two songs that were just like super, super catchy and like really big.
Yeah, it was, I think about 2 songs. Everything else was like kind of just vanilla. It wasn't really anything like catchy. But they had their run for like what, I don't know, 3-4 years at best.
Yeah.
But still, like people knew their names because of that 1 or 2 songs.
And that's why they were here performing at our little
music
fest thing.
Yeah, I remember
they were
now.
Really big.
Oh, look at you. Cutting celebrities' hair and all. Small town girl.
It's just what I do.
Yeah.
But that was cool.
That's cool.
I feel like there's been a couple other people too, but I didn't meet him, but I did see Bradley Cooper at the Jag. He wasn't there for the Jags, but I think he's a really big Eagles fan, maybe.
Oh yeah, because he's a Philly fan. Yeah.
So he was there.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I was still a teenager. I was there.
We're like, Bradley.
Well, we were there fundraising, and
Yeah.
so we were like working one of the concessions, and we see this like big entourage following someone, and I look over, and I was so impressed that like I recognized him because I'm so bad with faces. But yeah, sure enough, walked right in front of our booth.
He is huge Eagles fan, man. That guy bleeds Eagles.
I mean, he came down to Jacksonville to watch a game, so
Wow.
he really, really cares. It's had to be close to a decade ago, though.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So this is when, what's that movie that came out?
Hangover.
Hangover. That was during his, that was around that time.
Probably exactly what I said at first, too. I was like, that's the guy from The Hangover.
Wow, look at that. Okay.
Actually, remembering his name would have been way harder.
I was like, it's that guy from Hangover. That's cool.
So I went in with the half, helped blend it out a little bit, and then I've just notched it down to about a quarter. And we're going to take out this little line right here.
I actually have a question for Patrick.
Go ahead.
So,
Oh, what?
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Basically like a little testimonial.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, how long have you been coming to House of Shades?
I am going to go out on a limb and say maybe about a year and a half. No, maybe 2 years-ish. Yeah, close to 2, I think.
What was it like going to other barbershops before you found us?
How was it before?
Yeah.
I mean, it was great and all. The issue that I ran into, scheduling was one of them. I think service as far as, payments, I know it's cash driven predominantly in most barbershops, and it was rare to find a place that accepted cards, and something so simple was a huge factor for me because the travel and the time spent to look for something so simple was a huge factor. And then I think it's really just the conversation, but also kind of knowing the client's needs. That, not to say that other places weren't geared for that, but when you have somebody actually listens and actually works on the cut that they're asking for, that's huge. And I think that's why overall is what geared me to come back here more times. Well, actually, I've never looked back since after that moment. So I was like, yeah, I think this could be my place to be for that haircut.
Would you recommend House of Shades Barbershop to your friends or family?
Oh yes. I would. If anything were to come up as far as where to get a cut and the schedule and to get a great cut, yes, I would say here, House of Shaves. Yes.
Cool. Thank you. I was just thinking I might need to do that again because I'm not wearing a mic.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, can you ask him the question?
Absolutely. I might ask it a little differently. But...
Yeah. Whatever you want. Just basically the idea is we could clip this part out and make it like a little testimonial. Whenever you're ready.
Patrick, I'm going to grab a little testimonial from you.
Okay.
How long have you been coming here to House of Shaves?
I am going to say probably close to 2 years, almost 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds about right too. I know I've been cutting your hair for a long time now.
Yeah.
What, why did we stand out compared to other barbershops, or what kept you coming here?
I think it's going to come down to, like about 2 or 3 factors. So one of them was the payment system. It was very, very difficult to find a place that would take a debit card.
Yeah.
And I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but the fact that I don't really carry cash, and then to kind of get that situated was one of those places where I would have to go out of my way to have enough cash and then to tip the barber. So it just seemed kind of user-friendly, customer-friendly that I could do that here.
Yeah.
And then also the consistency of the cut and the quality of the cut was hard to find. But also, what also tipped the scales was the beard. I can't stress that enough. I've had numerous occasions where the beard was never cut to the request of my like specifications,
Yeah.
and I've had numerous nightmares where I would ask, have it cut this way and that way, and they would either cut more than I asked for or cut less, and I could never get it right. So yeah, I think the cut in itself was actually on point, and you listen too, which is something you would think every barber does, which they do for the most part, but they don't execute the details, which is what I look for.
Right.
So that's, I think, one of the main things. And then the conversations, you're easy to talk to, and I think everyone that is here cutting hair just seems like a regular conversation. It doesn't feel like it's forced or weird.
Or awkward.
Or awkward. So
pressured.
yeah. I think overall, and the fact that you can book your appointments and it's not impossible, and the website is user friendly. It's everything. I was like, oh gosh, and then location is awesome. I can't even stress that enough. Parking is easy.
Yeah.
And it's still close to where I live. So yeah, everything, all that factored in. I think people can really cut the hair, but it's a matter of listening to the customer and actually having a great conversation.
Yeah.
I think that boils down to those two, besides the other factors I've listed.
Yeah, I think it can definitely be hard to, like I'm a firm believer in there's a tribe for everyone's vibe, I guess.
That is true.
You want to put it in a corny little saying, but you do find your place.
Yeah.
And whereas I feel like we serve, a lot of people, but there's somewhere for everyone too.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I joked this to the wife one time. I was like, I've never thought, and not that I was like an opponent against the idea. I would have never thought a woman would do a better job than most of the men that have cut my hair.
Can't tell you how many times someone sits in my chair, and then I get you're gonna be the first woman to ever cut my hair, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, I will say this, in my years of like going to Miami and then other places I've gotten my hair cut, I'm like, to each of their own, and I looked at the cut and the beard, I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this is better than everyone that I'm like, all right, I guess this is my barber for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So you were the first woman to cut my hair. So that's number one. And then the fact that you executed every detail and went like above and beyond, better than what I expected. I was like, wow. So I was like, okay. So impressed. So
I really appreciate that.
yes.
Love the positive feedback.
Yes, that is a fact.
But yeah, we hear that all the time, and over at Riverside we are predominantly women run.
Yeah.
We've got one male with us, and then our owner too that cuts hair here.
Nice.
Periodically.
Yes.
But I'll hear guys say it to all the girls that work here all the time, and I don't think it's I wouldn't say it's like disrespectful or they mean it in a rude way. I think it's just not traditionally something that's been very popular.
Well, you don't think about the exact cut, and then obviously growing up in Miami, I'm like, okay, that culture and that style of cut. I'm like, okay, you would assume and expect, okay, the guys should know how to do their jobs.
And I think that's too, like a woman cutting a man's beard, like how are they supposed to know?
Right.
I think that's a common just like assumption maybe, or stereotype, or.
And I've seen women barbers, but like very few. I mean, it's like seeing a unicorn that can like cut the way they can cut.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, with the proper training and experience and in the proper hands, I mean, they can do it. It's just you say, well, I mean, the dude should know, right? And yeah, for the most part, they'll get it done, but you never get the execution, the precise request. And I think you were more of a listener.
You know, I think that is a something that I hear too from clients.
Yeah.
Is, like if a client does come in and they say that they favor women barbers, which is all preference.
Yeah.
Then I think it boils down to, okay, they want someone that's really gonna maybe listen to them. Not to say that male barbers aren't going to like listen and take the time, but
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just
It's hard
tell
to
you.
say, you know.
No one's cut this hair since
But
then.
you know,
Here's a question.
also everyone's different too.
Yeah, what is the question?
So, do you think women barbers are just as good as men barbers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I think you need to ask that because I don't have
You don't have the
the
mic.
mic.
Sorry. All right, go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right, I've got a question for you, Patrick.
Go ahead.
You think women barbers are just as good as men barbers?
That
Male
is
barbers?
a heck yes. For sure. I mean, I think where I wouldn't call it the issue is, when the male population don't come across that many women, in their like circles, and then find the few that do cut, and they can cut like, if not better. Yeah, I agree.
I can definitely understand why there is like a stereotype there.
Yeah.
Because I think this was a predominantly male-run industry, like in the past, and maybe even still. But I mean, I know we're just as equally qualified,
Oh yeah, definitely.
and I think it, doesn't really matter. It just matters on your skill set and like who you are too.
Yeah, and you know that what's that business called? Chop over down the street.
Yeah.
So their business is actually started in Tallahassee, where I grew up. Well, not grew up. Let me take that back. Where I worked for about 10 years.
Okay.
So they obviously had a business here. Now I tried getting an appointment with them. I guess timing never worked out. I had other barbers. But what I did notice from them, they had a predominant like amount of female barbers. I'm like, huh. What was cool about that place, where I think the idea came, was, okay, well, they're hiring them for a reason, and obviously the predominant barbers were women. So I was like, well, they're obviously hiring them for a reason. That they know how to cut. And the cool thing is you could get to see their profile of what they can do.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so you kind of get to know them, right? So I think that gave me the idea, or thought that, so okay, well, I mean, they probably go to the same schools like male barbers do, like they should know, and that's one of the reasons why, like, I settled for House of Shaves. Like, okay, well, and I can't recall if I knew much about your work, or I don't know if you had an Instagram at the time.
Maybe. Well,
Maybe.
I definitely had one, but I don't know if that's what brought you in here to see me.
Yeah, and I just kind of like flipped a coin, and I think it said pick any barber at the time. I didn't know who could do what, and yeah. I mean, it just goes to show that never judge a book by its cover, and just judge it based on the quality of work.
Yeah, so that's actually something that we improved on since you started coming here. Is, I don't know if you looked at the website recently, but on our profiles we do have like a little bit of a bio that just kind of shows like I don't know if it's what our favorite things to do are, or like what our specialties lie in, but everyone just kind of chose what they wanted people to see. So yeah, I'd say favorite things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of your posts on, like, not your posts, but the House of Shaves on Instagram. So a lot of good work coming out of that account.
Yeah, and we've got the 2 locations. So
Yeah.
that helps us.
Which I've not been to. Which one's that one? Southside?
Southside?
Yeah, I've not been to that one. I was close to booking that one time when I think you were either on vacation or you were booked up, but I have yet to go there. So maybe one day.
Maybe one day. It's fun to see the other locations too.
Yeah.
We almost went over there last week. Our AC was.
Oh no, really?
It went out on us. So we toyed with the idea of opening up over there, but they just have a lot of barbers, so it would have been hard for us to get in over there.
Right.
But that would have been a good opportunity for you to come check it out.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I think it might be, I don't know if it's even closer to where I live now.
You traditionally come here right after work, though, right?
Yeah, well, I actually head back to the apartment just to kind of get like semi cleaned up.
Yeah.
Because, I just smell like warehouse. So I don't want to come in with that kind of smell.
Go ahead and check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you see anything, you
Beautiful.
want to change anything.
I always forget to look in the back. That one looks great. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's great. Nailed it. Thank you.
Is a straight razor shave on the back of the neck going to be okay?
Yes, please.
All right, so we just finished up with Patrick's fade. We did high bald fade for him. Etched in a nice little hard part. Took a little bit off the top. Just getting back to the length he likes it. And now we're going to do the straight razor shave on the back of the neck. What are you guys doing for dinner, Patrick?
So I ate early actually. I ate my dinner wasn't like that stellar.
Not glamorous tonight?
Well, it wasn't because I have to sleep in early every night because I wake up like around 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, because you go to work really early.
So like my breakfast is like starts at 4 in the morning,
Yeah,
and then my lunch is at like around 9, 10 in the morning, and then my dinner.
it's all skewed.
My dinner is just jacked up, so my dinner's got to be like by no later than like 4:30 p.m. The latest. And I had to take the cat to the vet.
Oh,
And
is it okay?
Yeah,
Just normal stuff?
yeah. And I just had to eat something on the go because if not, I would have been starving before coming here. So I went to Starbucks.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I've not really been into Starbucks like pretty much all year, honestly. Like, I think like until this month, I've probably had Starbucks like a total of 2 or 3 times. I've just, I don't know, been overpaying $10 for a cup of coffee.
It's crazy.
But I had points that were about to expire, so I had to go.
I know.
And of course, I tried one of their fall drinks. I'm not even really like an apple girly. Like, I don't really get into the pumpkin-y flavors, but
Yeah.
I tried, it's like an apple chai tea, something or other.
All that good stuff.
I think I had it every single day that I was off, so 3 days in a row.
Oh man, they got you.
They got me again.
you. They did it again.
It's so good though. I'm getting so into like the fall mood, which
Yeah.
usually doesn't kick in until like at least midway through
Typically.
September, but
But they start
I'm
cracking
excited.
those out like by like late August.
yes.
Which wasn't the norm, but now they're like I feel like it's Black Friday where they like push it out 2 weeks before Black Friday.
Starting it early, trying
And
to
it's
get
like
ahead of
so
everyone
watered
else.
down. So it's the same thing with pumpkin and all that fall drinks. Like they push it out by like mid-August, late August. They get you so good.
Get you all inspired, and
Yeah.
I've been in craft stores recently too, and they've always got their stuff out
Look
super
at that,
early.
all the fallsy stuff.
Yes. But I'm excited for football this season too, and
Oh yeah.
with fall comes football, and
Right.
hopefully the Jags kill it this season, like we
Yeah.
all
They should have a
hope they will.
decent season. I think
Yeah.
they're playing the Dolphins this
Sunday, I think.
Is it their first game?
Yeah, it's their first game. They're down there too,
Yeah, that's where it's at.
so we'll see what they got. They did win all their preseason games, but
But
they also won all their preseason games last season, and we all
Yeah.
saw how that ended.
we saw how that unraveled.
So can't really. You gotta take that with a grain of salt.
Oh yeah. That is so true. But I think they did enough to kind of be ready for this season.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it can be any worse than last season. And if it is, then heads are going to roll for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
People are gonna be a lot more upset about that new stadium if they don't do well.
Well, which got approved, right? Or
Right.
I can't.
I don't know if it's official or not. They go back and forth on it so often.
Right. But I would agree. I don't think the population of Jackson will be gun ho for a new stadium, but the team is not winning.
Right.
Yeah. Gotta win to get that new stadium.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I just want to see them do good too.
Yeah.
I used to live in Seattle, and I moved here in 2012, which was, I believe it was the year that they, or maybe it was like the following year after I had moved, was their like first Super Bowl win. And I just remember all the hype and stuff, like, of course, from Facebook, because I didn't live there anymore. I was so
Oh.
jealous. Like,
Yeah,
dang.
they got pretty close.
They went 2 years back to back, but they lost the second year, I believe.
I know the Patriots knocked them out of the AFC,
Yeah.
and then they've tried. They've tried. I know they started in what, like 94, if my history serves me right.
Jaguars?
Jaguars.
Yeah, and I think I think they were like maybe established in 93, but their first season was like 94 or 95.
Something like
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
hmm Well, we've done most of the work on the beard, but we got to straight razor the beard still. And I'm going to fade it in a little bit more.
I'll stop recording then, and I'll let you finish the beard, and then we'll get the afters.
Okay. Sounds good.